Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL, or Reading Between the Lines. This is the November 25th edition. We'll be talking about some EEs, just some minor updates here and there. First thing I want to get to is like these extra pages, or the smaller ones. Counter set adjustment event round 2. If you were here for the round 1, it was pretty good. I mean, we got, you know, I think no one got really disappointed, except that they're like, okay, now how can we trust Smilegate since they didn't know this for like 3 years? In terms of the rate of the counter set. Regardless, that being in the past, if you're still holding a grudge to this, I mean, you're still benefiting from this. There is a 4-day hunt buff coming, and it's just straight up hunt buff, and again, it's not their regular buff weekend events where everything's buffed. This is just a compensation. I do find it kind of funny though that the Burning Passion pack was not available for the first one. It was definitely more of a like, oh, we apologize, this is our mistake, so here, have all this stuff. But instead of shoveling in your face that, hey, also buy some packs. for this one, obviously, I think it's just like kind of water under the bridge. I think the timing is okay. Like I'll accept this in terms of like, if you buy Burning Passion pack or if you don't buy it, you know, this might not be funny to you, but it is funny to me, just because like this is still under the umbrella of like, oh, we're sorry. But the second time, it's just like maybe they forgot about the reason. So it's just a joke, okay? But yeah, so Burning Passion pack is available during this period. I usually pick them up, so I'll most likely pick them up. I just think it is funny though. The equipment crafting event, of course, is the big thing. It does go in line with your hunts, since you do require to use your energy to get the points needed to re-roll or refresh this event. If you guys know how it works, of course, I don't want to go through it, but if you're a new player, this is the best time to get the best type of gear. Definitely go for the right side gear. Don't go for the boots, please. Accessories are usually the best bang for buck. And sets, I'm okay to whatever you need. I used to be like, you know, you should go for speed set. I know there are a lot of people that still push like you should just go speed set or immunity. Immunity kind of falling off with a couple heroes that have been released. People are saying that it's not as valuable anymore. I still think immunity is valuable, but to each their own. I think speed set will continually be one of the best ones for this event, simply because of the fact that whatever you're rolling, the substat in there, you have to have speed, unless you're rolling a boot, which again I don't recommend. But if you're doing accessories and you have speed in there, and let's say you penta roll speed, or let's say even quad roll high speed rolls, then realistically the best bang for buck is to have it paired with a speed set. That's not to say that a lifesteal counter can't benefit from like a 20-24 speed roll. It's just that it's just usually better value for a speed set. Like it's just more funneled. So that's usually the mentality going behind it. But you know, there's always gonna be like, I've crafted other stuff too. I've crafted pen set for the last event. I'm not quite sure where I want to go right now. Just because I'm actually hunting KDs or being able to access pen set quite easily now, much easier. So I myself, I'm kind of hesitant. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll go speed set again. I don't know. It was different. My mentality was different a month ago. It is different again now. Just seeing what's on the horizon, seeing the pattern that they're trying to give. Lifesteal and counter set are all really beneficial as well, just because those are sets that really need like very honed substats, and like speed set is more universal. So I'm talking about if you're comparing it to crafting it regularly, getting speed set, like a usable speed set, is like there's higher probability than saying getting some usable lifesteal set, because lifesteal usually you predominantly want some kind of aggro stats in there, but speed set and immunity are universal. You can have healer stats and stuff like that. Anyways, that's a long rant, but you guys already know how this works, just in case there are new players watching this. Hoochie Shop is back as well. I have my own take on what's valuable Hoochie Shop. Again, it's my experience now past multiple banners. If you're going for the mystic medals here, but you have the gold, I would just... Well, actually, it's discounted. It is discounted price, so there's a 50% off. But I generally, when it was at full price, I generally get better value out of the like shop refreshing, so refreshing Garo, so 3 Skystone per refresh, and then using the gold to pick up mystics. I mean, if you guys are watching my YouTube video and you have been on my Twitch streams in the past, like couple banners, like the limited banners, Rimuru, Milim and stuff like that, I've been shop refreshing a lot, and you guys know that like the rates, like maybe I got really lucky, like, you know, streamer luck, but I get like mystics quite a bit, so it's like it's been quite consistent. I feel like that's higher value. So for me, Hoochie shop, just a personal commentary, Hoochie shop not really worth it to me. I don't pick up the Mulligore anymore. I haven't done that in a long time. Maybe 250 is worth it, I'm not quite sure. Hero summon ticket, I never picked that up. This is way too RNG, too expensive to me, even with a discount, to be honest. Mystics I have in the past, but just very, very desperate. Free equip event as well aligned. They're saying that this is like falls on Black Friday, so they're giving us for full week. So that's very, very good. We don't usually have full week free equip events. And now the issue is that I had no idea it's gonna be a full week. So now I have that web event free equip scroll. And since because we're kind of like, you know, not in World Arena season, I really haven't seen the need to really full equip or re-equip my heroes yet, so I haven't touched that. So probably this 1 week will be enough with some new heroes, and I just bought Briar Witch's Tieria from the coin shop because I saw the coin rotation. I'm like, yeah, I think I gotta pick up Briar Witch. So maybe I'll benefit from it this week. Anyways, on to the actual patch note. Thank you for watching that sponsored segment. I'm just kidding. So this is kind of cool. I was watching this. So a 1 minute summary, but 2 minute video. Not that I guess they'll be including this in the patch note itself. I think they did run this before, but I never noted it. But this is kind of nice. I mean, like, this is like a quick, like right there, like I just got that perfect shot because I was gonna talk about this. So limited hero rerun, right? So unless you were on the patch stream, this is a very, very nice kind of summary format. I do definitely think that this is a very, very smart thing that they did. I mean, with some decent music, 2 minutes, easy to digest, and people don't have to stay up all night unless they want the hype, right? The commentary with New and Mashu and stuff like that. This is just a really nice for people like me who may not be able to attend or watch the live stream all the time. So yeah, this is also previewing stuff that wouldn't be in the patch note. So usually the patch note would cover the stuff that's coming in the week. This would cover like at least 2 weeks. So it's the same as it's a mini version of the patch stream. So very, very nice. So as you saw, there's the Advent side story coming again, Fairy Tail. Next week will be the World Arena season starting, Conviction season. So that's season 6, I believe now. So yeah, very, very nice, nice addition. If they already had the video, forgive me, I didn't know, but now they're including it embedded into the patch note itself, so that's very, very nice to see. Chapter 4 or chapter 2 for episode 4 already coming out. It's really great. I'm gonna skip this a bit. I'm still behind, but I should hit it before the hump off. The second part of the chapter, you get that awakening or awakened. That's the term here. So interested to see how she'll look. 3 exclusive equipment. This is kind of interesting. So I'm not quite sure. So okay, let's first. Let's get to Alencia. I personally don't know if this will bring her out to play more, because I'm looking at the skills there, and I don't think that they're really honing in on the issue. I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss that. They usually have like a purpose behind the creation of it. They didn't have a commentary on this one. Sometimes they do have a commentary on the purpose behind it. It's like, oh, we realized like this hero is underused in this, so we wanted to buff that. But that might be more predominant in the buffs, the dev buffs. They usually give a reasoning behind it. This one, I personally think they missed the mark. So crit chance on Alencia has always been a tough thing, but this only undervalues Alencinox's Wrath, which is Alencia's artifact. So unless they buff that, the EE here is honestly just puts that artifact in like even lower category than it already was. Alencia Nox's Wrath used to be good, but then now we have like Zahak and stuff like that, which, you know, heroes that just have straight up stats boosted. Alencia Nox's Wrath will have to be one of those artifacts that need a major buff. If Smilegate were to try to market a rerun of Alencia's banner. Because I'm not convinced the EE is that good here. Again, 12% crit rate is good in terms of Alencia, but one of the toughest things for people to get on her is to get the crit rate. That had always been the case. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm not quite sure, like maybe with pen set now, like pen set HP set's been updated, so like you know, pen set crit set HP set kind of Alencia, would that be, sorry, pen set immunity set HP set, or pen set immunity crit set, like would that be some new build? I'm not quite sure, but again, I don't know this EE, like outside of the base stats there. Increases effect chance of the noble blood to activate Mind's Eye by 20% after being attacked. So you're looking at a 70% proc rate now, which is really high, but you're still missing that 30%. So in a fight, my experience is like you know, the way it was before, 50%, like if you're fighting her on a defense team back when she was meta, like it would always proc, you know what I mean? So like the 50% to proc versus the 30% to not proc, like I don't feel that's a huge difference in terms of like it can still fail you. Now I'm not asking for 100%, I just don't know if that was the thing that she was missing at all. That's what I'm not convinced about. Damage dealt of trample is increased by 20%. Now this one might have some potential. Now, just keeping in mind that if you have the Mind's Eye, you Soul Burn, you Death Break, that 20% could be huge. So if anything, I do feel like that would be her go-to if you're gonna use her in PvP. Again, I'm not convinced that these are the issues that she had, that she got removed. So I don't think that, like, in terms of like a world arena meta, I don't think she saw less activity because she didn't proc Mind's Eye, and I don't think that she saw less activity because she couldn't kill with trample. So when you put like those EEs against that kind of litmus test, she fails it. It's like, again, like I said, the crit rate will just mean that you can boost her HP or defense or whatnot, but that also requires perfect gear, right? So like, yeah, you'll see an overall stat increase on her, but it's like, is that what she needed? I'm not convinced that is. Genesis, the S3, increased effectiveness to cast for 2 turns when using Genesis. So I mean, we recently had Yufine's buff that she gets like effectiveness buff, and like straight away my go-to is like, oh, the PvE, right? I don't know if she's not gonna be a PvE hero. I mean, I don't think she ever was really a PvE hero. I think she worked in PvE. I just don't think that she was. The effectiveness here, you know, one will say that, well, then maybe you like, she'll defense break easier with the Mind's Eye, right? So Mind's Eye already increases effectiveness by 30%. Having this, that's 80%. That's huge, Jagan. I think okay, right? But the issue with her, again, is not, I don't feel is that she misses the death break, and I don't think this brings her back. This is kind of like, this is similar to Fire Ken. When Fire Ken got, was it a buff that he got, or was it, no, he didn't have an EE, right? So it's a buff. When he got a buff and it's like, oh, like his defense break is increased and he ignores effect resistance straight out. I'm like, I had the same thing that I have here. It's the same question I have. It's like, is that enough? Is that, like, does that bring enough to the table? I think she's still in a better position than Fire Ken if you discount the elemental bias at the moment, like green versus fire or whatnot. But it's because she brings AoE strip, she brings defense buff. That's why I'm saying that she's better. Ken always had the issue that he's more selfish, so it was really hard to use him, I think. Again, I'm not convinced that she'll be meta. I would definitely be happy to be proven wrong, because, you know, my lens is triple last, she's in fully molad, just like a lot of people back then. So you know, I'm not convinced that the EE will help her. So Ilynav actually has more benefit here. So the 12% crit rate is really good. She already has an imprint concentration of crit rate. So that means that, you know, whatever imprint you have her on, or if you don't have imprints, she can really scale that crit rate. And so you could find those stats and other things like quite easily. I do feel that this 1 EE has like the ultimate potential for me, and that's definitely Punish. That's the first one there. Decreases the skill cooldown by Punish by 1 turn. Her Punish skill is a 3-turn cooldown. If you soul burn it, 10 souls, like you see in the graphic there, 10 souls, it does reduce it by 2 turns. So what that means is that, like, I mean, if you soul burn it, you can basically infinitely soul burn it. But if this decreases the cooldown by 1 turn, I do feel that, like, she's in a really good place in terms of using Punish. So being able to access the second Punish, so assuming that you wanted to use Punish at the get-go, like, depends on the fight, you can use it with this EE on, and then only 1 turn away, which you'll start ramping up souls unless they have Bellion. We're talking like World Arena scenario. If you soul burn it, then you can continually using Punish. So Punish does quite a bit of injury damage. It is 20% if I'm not mistaken. Hold on one sec. I have the game open. Yeah, so yeah, the injury is 20% each time. That's pretty good. Knowing like A Robbie is at 10%. If you're really spamming Punish, and if you have Elbrus, or even if you're on a counter set, then they're on a ticking time bomb. And the thing is, Ilynav actually hits pretty hard. I'm curious if the EE here with the crit rate stat, so being able to push her stats up even higher, with the Punish EE, like, will we see her used in a more pocket pick scenario? I'm not quite sure. So I do feel that Zahak is being pushed to, like, you know, really pressure like Violets and A Robbies and stuff like that. But anyways, it's not a Zahak thing, but the injury is definitely something that was always going to be one of Ilynav's potential, but it's just being able to access it without RNG. I think that was her biggest issue. Now we know that, you know, single target injury can work as long as it does it fast enough. Of course, A Robbie has other benefits, that she hits hard in general, and then revives, and also self heals, and just bulky in general. So Ilynav will still not be able to be comparable there. Let's talk about Repel. So Repel is the S3. So grants a barrier to the caster for 2 turns when using Repel. Barrier strength proportional to caster's max health. I can see this being used, but I do think that, again, with what, like to me, that would be like about the same as like Alencia's S3. So defense buff is really good, barrier is really good, but it's like, was that her issue? I'm not quite sure about this one. Though just keep in mind that Repel already grants her 2 different buffs, so that is a crit damage buff and immunity buff. Just, yeah, like with Rimuru out, like, all the buffers now have to be considered, whether it's like a risky buff for Rimuru to get. This is probably not a big deal here, but it's I'm not quite sure about this one. Increased combat rate is cast by 50% when using Repel. This one could be more usable in one shot. So I'm thinking about, so one of my friends, Platypie, had his account review, and we were showcasing Jintai's A13 one shot, and Ilynav was used in that one for I think it was, did she have crit rate release imprint? I'm not quite sure, but she was there for like crit damage and doing AoE, crit damage buff and doing AoE damage, stuff like that. So like, maybe this combat readiness, this 50%, will have a new dynamic in one shot. I'm not quite sure. When I was reading that, I was thinking about that Jintai one shot comp. But yeah, increased combat rate is at 50%. So if you're not using it for, let's say, a one shot kind of mechanic, it's still like on paper it's still usable in PvP, right? So realistically what this is doing is that you are doing S3, you have immunity buff, you have crit damage buff, and then so your crit damage, you'll do more damage for your punish skill on the next turn. Now I just don't know if, like, knowing how injury works now, knowing like how much damage you need to do to cast a certain amount of injury, I'm not quite sure in Ilynav's kit she needs the crit damage buff to be able to output the maximum amount of injury damage in punish. So therefore, again, out of the three, I think punish, the EE, is the best out of the three in terms of a real fight. That's what I'm picturing this in my mind. I think that's the case. Could be wrong, or I mean, she could be still unusable. Outside of the punish EE there, I think may be able to grant Ilynav some use. I'm not convinced. It kind of like Alencia, but because at least her EE, the punish EE, is dealing with one of her issues, I feel that this is a much better designed EE instead of Alencia's EE. So Free Spirit Tieria is definitely not a hero that I was expecting to get an EE. I definitely think that perhaps they are strapped for time in terms of, like, they don't want to over buff a hero. I think the 3 EEs this time is just like not high priority to me. But the Free Spirit Tieria one, it just, I don't know. I don't even know what the purpose of these EEs are. I'm trying to think of PvP. Like, are they shifting to PvP, or is there content that she's specifically good in that has Dark Elemental? First things first, we have an attack increase up to 14% as the base stat. The first EE half slash is the S1, decreases skill cooldown of energy wave by 1 turn when attacking a Dark Elemental hero with half slash. So that becomes weird. So energy wave is the AoE skill that if she's strong enough, she can help farm the entire thing. So like she would be like in a green Vildred kind of place, and maybe even an RB. So like for farming, I'm currently using Free Spirit Tieria in my Banshee one shot. So none of the stuff that she has here in the EE outside of perhaps the base stat itself benefit my run. Maybe the immunity at the most, but even though that's not that useful. So I'm just kind of thinking here, like, this is like, you reduce the cooldown for Dark Elemental, and it's only 1. Energy wave by itself is that it's an AoE skill. If you kill, it resets the cooldown. So there's like a weird disconnect for me on why the design of half slash, and then the dispel from 1 target when using energy wave. I think that's okay. You know what, that means technically AoE strip. But again, like, if you're using her for farming, where do you need that? Unless maybe it's the boss that you're fighting. I can see that there's like enough utility here. So in terms of, like, if you're a new player and you only have Free Spirit Tieria because she's free, no pun intended, and you have, like, you're able to access, you know, she's fully skill enhanced, she's got an artifact that does pretty well for her actually, you know, like she's, I think they're making her like an all-rounder kind of hero, I guess. Granting immunity, like, so she can be an immunity buffer, she can be a AoE dispeller. Maybe I can see it. I don't know about the half slash one though, specifically the Dark Elemental. Yeah, so anyways, that's my comments on the EEs. Again, I don't think any of these ones are that great, and honestly, we can't really assume that, you know, all the EEs are going to be good all the time, especially now that we've pressured them to release 3 at a time. I was mentioning this before, it's like either you just get power creep or you're just gonna get stuff that is redundant. But I mean, they're delivering on their promises. The issue is right now, like, as the heroes are getting released, and I see it in Zahak as well, it's like the requirements are very, very different. And so I think what we're gonna get sometimes, guys, and this is just gonna be the reality, is that we're gonna get some EEs that are just kind of what we call filler. It's just for them to fill, like basically pad time between them observing what the meta is like, because again, it's really too quick. it's too quick, right? They've cornered themselves. Heroes getting like kits that are just they gotta power creep the next, like the previous hero, and then the dev buffs coming in, and they have like a deliverable in terms of like how many 5 stars, how many 4 stars, and then that all shifts the meta. And then you got EEs, and then the expectation that now we need 3 EEs. We're gonna get some padding, so it's gonna be EEs that are being padded. There's gonna be dev buffs where heroes are just gonna be padded until they get their, like, you know, 5th, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, even 5th rework or whatnot. So it's just gonna be the case, and it's just how it is. And I've mentioned this before in other commentary. It's just how the game design will be. So we just have to accept that. I'm okay. I'm actually better off. Like, I personally feel like I'm better off with just like EEs are not that relevant, so I can just skip it, or I don't have to build a hero again. You know, just stick with whatever's meta. I know that this is gonna be a disappointment to some though, because like a new EE feels like it's a dev buff, which also feels like it's a new hero. You can dust off your heroes and you can play with them. But honestly, I think there's too much to play with at the moment. Zahhak preview, like I said, okay, so I'm not gonna be talking about Zahhak. Hopefully I said that at the beginning, so you guys were not expecting that. But I will make a Zahhak's initial thoughts video separate to this one, okay? I think he's pretty straightforward. So that video, outside of the mechanics I'll talk about, it should be quick. He's not too complex for me, at least. Side story as well for him coming out, so that's good. See if there's anything else. We should be pretty much over here. Flan, Unseen Observer. Flan still very strong. People who have the speed gear, Flan is a very good pick in World Arena right now. Because of that buff, Blue Tywin is nowhere to be seen. Not even in most PvE. I mean, she could replace Tywin pretty easily. Unseen Observer. I might actually have to purchase that one actually, because I don't have it. I did pick up Flan during the episode 3 ending, but I don't have Unseen Observer, so I might have to get that one. Coin shot renewal. So like I said at the beginning, I did buy Briar Witch because of the rotation, and yeah, so if you're missing Last Rider Crow or Ruel, here's your chance. The Covenant ones are just gonna be much harder usually to get unless you're a big whale. So outside of the Advent side story, it says preview here, so they're not going to be overlapping that with the hunt buff that is coming this weekend, which is great. So that will be next week, and then Fairy Tale Tenebria or Tenebria will be also released next week, right? Is that next week? No, 2 weeks from now. So yeah, so that's it for this one. That's it for this one, mainly talking about the EEs and then upcoming events and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.